All right, guys, I'm super excited about our golf lessons today. We don't have the opportunity, doing these lessons virtually to set up something that's going to force you to be courteous to other people while you're doing it. In First Tee, we like to make you guys show the life skills that we talk about. Excuse me, I'm bending down real quick to pick up my club. We like to make you guys act out the core values as much as we can. So in a courtesy lesson, we might have partners where, you're encouraged to shake hands, introduce yourself, say nice shot, that type of thing to get you guys used to what that actually feels like out on a golf course. Well, we don't have that luxury today. So what I want to do is show you guys a couple of golf drills that I really like. And then we'll kind of leave that courtesy element. We'll talk about it again at the end of the lesson in my last video as we talk about some rules and etiquette of the game. But I just want you guys to know that if we were out in a First Tee lesson with a bunch of our friends, it would be a little different. So all that being said, all my disclaimers out of the way, I'm going to show you my first drill, and it's going to look really simple. But guys, I promise you, this is the real deal. And this is what it takes to get good at golf and to be a good golfer. And I'll show you real quick what it looks like. Boom, guys. This thing is the real deal. It looks to you like just a basket with a net in it, right? We call them chipping nets. They are super, super useful to have available to you in the backyard. Now, when I was growing up, I didn't have that. But my dad had just painted our house. And so I did have a 5-gallon paint bucket. Guys, you can use either of these. Set that out. The main goal here is to give ourselves a target to shoot for. All right, y'all. So kind of similar to the other day, our last week of videos, I'm going to be showing you the shots, and then I'll kind of show you the results. I'm going to be aiming at the basket since I have it out here. But this angle is really good because it's going to allow me to talk about a couple things. So we're working on basically a chip shot today, but I'm going to be using a sand wedge. So I'm going to go through a lot of my chipping technique, but I'm going to be doing it with a club that you might normally associate with hitting pitch shots, right? Because I want my ball flight to be a little bit lower. I don't want it to just shoot up into the air. I want to kind of drive these golf balls into my basket. So chipping technique, as we talked about in tee times, BLT. And you guys have heard me say that a bunch of times before, but I hope that this video from this angle will kind of demonstrate the things that I'm talking about. So for BLT, what we want is we want the ball back in our stance, right? That's the first thing. BLT, ball back in the stance. That means for me being a right-handed golfer, that golf ball is going to be almost directly in front of my right big toe. Maybe just a little bit inside of my right big toe. Reason we do that is because we want to lean our weight forward, right? A lot of people, when they chip, make the mistake of keeping their weight perfectly balanced between their right and left side. And what we want to do is get about 60 to 70% of that weight shifted over, and hopefully you guys can see a difference between me standing flat-footed, even weight, and me shifting my weight. It's nothing crazy. I'm not falling over this direction, right? Just a little shift. And the last thing, guys, was to tilt our club forward. So if you look, and hopefully you guys have a good angle of this, the ball is here, right above my right thigh. Like I said, inside of my right big toe. Look where my hands are. My hands are over here by my left thigh. That forward angle is exactly how we want to hit these shots. It takes that flicky wrist element out of the stroke. So all those things combined, oh, I would have laughed if I made my first one. That would have been too easy, right? It was actually really close though. It went just underneath the basket. I'll show you guys in a little bit. I'm just gonna hit these a few times so you guys can see going through my BLT process. Well, in typical golfer fashion, I missed the first one short and then blasted the second one way over the top. So hopefully find something right in the middle there. Not long again. I'm gonna do a couple more for you guys, just because I believe that, you know, as a visual learner, seeing the stroke is probably my most important tool as a student. Oh man, I'm getting so close, guys. But hey, this is all practice, right? I'm not gonna beat myself up over missing a couple. Oh, that was just a thin one. That one wasn't very good at all. But hopefully you guys get the idea of what we're looking for there. Anybody who was curious, that was my first one. It rolled underneath the basket to there. And then all of these, they're pretty close together, but they definitely flew over. Like I said in my last video, better luck next time. All right, guys, so that pretty much wraps up the first drill that I want you to do. I'm not gonna give you a set time limit or a set number of shots to hit, because I think that this drill is simple enough that just go out and do it once a week, twice a week. When I was a kid, it was important to me that I got better at the game of golf. It was something I was passionate about. Therefore, because I cared a lot, I was out doing this almost every day in my backyard. There's no substitute for repetition and for practice. So, you know, I think you have to ask yourself, like, what do you want to get out of golf? I think having that open dialogue with yourself is extremely helpful. If you want to be a good competitive golfer someday, this is the kind of stuff you need to be doing. You can't always get out to the golf course every single day, especially those of you that can't drive yet. So what can you do? Well, you can go set up a paint bucket in your backyard. You could go find a towel, a hand towel, and try to land balls on top of the towel. You don't need any of this equipment to do this. You could pick a tree trunk out in your yard. You could pick a dead spot where the grass is just a little bit browner than everywhere else in your yard. You don't need a ton of stuff.